Let's look at the front pages of our dailies. So first up, we've got the Business Day. And the Business Day, they've got Ramaphosa shifts focus to SADC unity. That's what we were speaking about in trending topics. President looking at unity. Anti-migrant protesters remind summit of friction as president takes over the chair. And what they say here is he moved to paper over the cracks resulting from the recent wave of anti-immigration protest actions in South Africa, calling for more cross-border trade and investment. More than 100,000 African immigrants fled or were deported from South Africa after intense anti-migrant pressure, workplace raids and localized protests that peaked around June. So there we go. That's where the attention is. And there, of course, the president gesturing next to Zimbabwe's President Emmerson Mnangagwa before assuming the leadership of the SADC for 26-27 term. Then another photograph just below that, a dancer entertaining delegates at the summit. That little photograph down there. India opens door to SA citrus exports. South Africa's citrus industry is cheering a breakthrough nearly 10 years in the making. India has agreed to include additional treatment options for fresh citrus fruit from its fellow BRICS member, potentially opening up a market of nearly 1.5 billion people. That's a huge one. Then there's the face of Benjamin Netanyahu saying, brutal race. Netanyahu's Likud faces tough election fight. And the other one, Commission, Matlala's 15 million rand loan under scrutiny. SPA chair, deputy chair resign amid turmoil. And the box, Erasmus asks fans to respect Haka. Okay, there we go. That's the Business Day. The Daily Dispatch now, ANC in race to finalise candidate lists with deadline looming. And this is a failure to resolve branch-level disputes, could see some wards without candidates in elections, is the story they go. Only 10 days are left before the IEC's August 28 deadline, which requires all political parties and independent candidates to submit their lists before the 5 p.m. cutoff. The photograph they've got there is a picture of unfulfilled promise. Activist Lucinda Group holds up a John Bissiker matric jacket, one of just 30 that were delivered. So that story there, Education Department steps in after tensions rise over missing matric jackets. This is the department is set to probe a Kugompo City school following a protest last week over money paid by matriculants for jackets and other clothing items that have yet to be delivered. Only 30 out of 157 matric pupils received their jackets, and they go into details about that story there. All right, let's leave it. That's the front page of the Daily Dispatch. Let's look at the Witness now. Mzimduzi braces for fresh service delivery shutdown. And this story, Pietermaritzburg businesses and residents bracing for widespread disruption to electricity, water, refuse collection and frontline municipal services as SAMU workers prepare to strike at Mzimduzi municipality today. So that's the one to watch out for. Mpendle workers down tools over unpaid salaries. That's the photograph on the front page. That's frustrated workers affiliated to SAMU down tools yesterday blocked roads, the main route into Mpendle Economic Zone, saying they could no longer endure the hardship of not being paid, which is only fair. Then again, Matlala frustrates Madlanga Commission. I think this one we've been hearing about all day. He was basically refusing to answer questions about other high-profile witnesses and co-accused in criminal matters. And his advocate, of course, standing right by his side, invoked his right not to incriminate himself. Then what else is there? Then on the side, just to wrap up, store water, prepare for power outages. The residents are told they've been urged to store water and make alternative arrangements for refuse as Pietermaritzburg faces possible delays to municipal services. All right, that's the front page of The Witness. Let's have a look at the Cape Argus now. In the Cape Argus, Operation Prosper unraveling. This story is basically about police and soldiers at odds in fight against gangs. A worrying disconnect between police and soldiers deployed to tackle gang violence on the Cape Flats has emerged, with SANDF members allegedly complaining about poor coordination, weak intelligence sharing and inadequate support during Operation Prosper. In fact, stay tuned in the final hour on the program. We're going to be talking about gangsterism. We've got Ian Cameron and Bishop Dalton Adams, and they're going to be talking about gang violence and these things continuing to soar. So that's something that we will be talking about, and that's the focus on the Cape Argus. City and construction contract crossfire. And this is saying it was a case of mixed fortunes for the city when the Western Cape High Court ordered it to pay 11 million rand to a construction company while it escaped being tied to a tender in a separate matter. And then right there at the bottom, no link between Milnerton lagoon pollution and sardine die-off. That's according to the city. So let's leave it there. That is the Cape Argus. Then we've got the Sowetan. Sowetan front page saying, playing cat and mouse. I don't want to incriminate myself. Matlala repeatedly invokes constitutional right as Madlanga inquiry probes 228 million rand SAPS tender, alleged Impala gift and 15 million rand loan, and lawyer clashes with evidence leader over whether answers could expose crime-accused tenderpreneur to further criminal charges. That's the front page. Let's take a look at the rest of the papers.